What is happening, y'all? Welcome on back to more Bloodborne. So we've gone ahead and finally made some adjustments. I know a couple people have been asking, so the sound has been turned down even more, and the brightness has been bumped up to 7, which I think is overly bright, but I do agree that Bloodborne is super dark. So anyway, so this from the structure, actually first thing we're doing is going over to the right here, grab those shards. And then right inside we will fight our first snake man. Now this area is going to be filled with these guys in the next part. They look just like, you know, an average enemy, but once you hurt them a little bit, a big old snake will pop out of their head, which is why their health pool is so beefy. Like, you know, it's very deceptive. Always good to charge up and attack and bonk them while they're trying to transform there. I do not. I really need to get the lantern too. I keep forgetting to get the lantern. We're getting that this episode. I got a torch out for you now. We kill him and then, oh, hang on. I think I go this way next if I remember correctly. Yes. Alright, so we come out here and we're gonna drop down. There'll be another little beastie over here. Very windy over here. Take the ladder up. We're gonna grab some knives, and then there's a man outside, and we're gonna send him to the clinic. Now, you can actually get a mini boss fight from the guy that we're about to encounter if you want. But just go on and cross this path here. Grab these knives. This guy is... I believe it's the Abhorrent Beast is what he's actually called. But he's sitting back here in the corner. And you can see all these bodies around him. And it kind of looks like he's snacking on this child because he is. So anyway, he's going to ask you about safe havens. Now, I would highly suggest the clinic. But there are 3 options here. If you send him to the chapel, he's going to start eating people at the chapel. So you really don't want to do that. If you send him to the clinic, he's going to get turned into one of those little brainless alien things. If you withhold information and you attack him, he will transform into a giant beast, and it's kind of like a mini boss fight. So the easiest thing is to just tell him about Iosefka's clinic. He'll give you some plungent blood cocktails. He'll be on his way over there, and then that way, I mean, if you really want a boss fight, you know, go ahead and try and fight him. But at this point, he's actually pretty challenging. He'll probably be harder than anything else that you'd have tackled at this point. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, back inside and drop to get yourselves the cannon. And now this thing is actually worth mentioning. It's a 30 strength. Very, very beefy. I mean, obviously this is strength build exclusive, but this thing will use 12 bullets per shot and it'll just donk on whatever you hit. So there's certain enemies where, you know, it's like you hit them in the head, you can stagger them. The cannon is basically an instant hit stagger. Like, you shoot somebody and they are... They're getting bonked really hard. So I wanted to point it out because I think it's unique in that regard. But anyway, after getting that, just drop back down, and now we're right back where we had killed that snake man. We can actually continue from here. The madman's knowledge. Over here is... This is a shortcut, but it's kind of a weird shortcut. Because this area that we're at isn't exactly close to the exit, but you know, we'll get to that shortcut a little bit later. We have another snake man. This one's already transformed. Take him out. And then walk up here. Get some loot up top. And then we have a real shortcut. Taking us all the way back to the start of the zone. Go on and get this. You have the Old Hunter's Edition. You'll have volunteer here. Actually, I think everyone will have volunteer. But go ahead and join the league. This is going to get you access to your first Covenant rune. Go on and pop this open. Now is a great time to warp. So we're gonna go try and fight Iosefka now. Now is a good time to do it, since we have sent the crazy boss guy over there. First thing though, I'm buying that lantern before I forget. I have talked about buying the lantern for seemingly forever. There's only 2,000 echoes and I just kept forgetting to get it. And then I like to put it on right here. There she is. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and level up. I swear I'm not moving the controller when I do those damn gestures. Like it's just sitting in my hands. I don't know. I think it's like I'm tapping the button somehow. I'm trying to go too fast.
Farewell.
I don't believe we have any rocks to upgrade. No, we do not. Although I do have enough that I could upgrade my flamethrower a bit. Beautiful. I'm going to store a couple things that I'm not going to need, such as the cannon. Alright, so from here, warp to the first floor sick room. You could put on that rune real fast, but we're going to be putting on runes in a second anyway. That rune isn't going to really help us for the time being. This now we have, look at that, a little mini lantern so y'all can see what I'm doing now. But go up here and talk. The door is relocked, you'll notice. We're just talking to get some blue elixirs. Those are from the guy that we just sent there. And then we're going to leave and we're going to circle around and enter that place from behind. Now, once again, if you can't kill her here, it's not the end of the world. This is a fairly challenging fight. So, you know, don't feel bad if you fail to take her down. Some things to make mention of. Parries are going to be really useful here. Getting parries and visceral attacks, obviously. Beyond that, she can do a call to beyond when she gets low. Go left first. We're gonna... Here's the guy we just sent. He's all aliened out now. So we get a beast rune from him. So a call to beyond is this like giant AoE thing that'll happen. You want to be careful around that. Beyond that, let's see. She can do an augur of ebrietis, which is like a tentacle burst that's coming from her hand. That can be a little bit tricky. One of the things we're going to do here, though, we're going to pop a blue elixir, and this is about a 50-50 strategy. I've had some luck with it. Other times it hasn't worked. This is like this game's equivalent of stealth. But what we're going to try and do is use the blue elixir to get a sneak attack on her. Which might work, might not.
This won't hurt a bit.
Alright, now we're going to stay right here. Might need to be farther. I know there's a way where she'll turn around and leave. Yeah. Now if we can get close enough, we can get the charge attack on her. But you don't need to do this, but it'll just make the fight that much easier. Ah, no, it's not gonna happen. Alright, well, we'll just do it from here instead. Oh boy. So that's the auger that I mentioned that you want to be careful for. She has a whip, she has a pistol, and she has that auger thing and a call to beyond. We're actually going to be getting that ourselves a little bit later. Trying to get a parry off on her. Oh shit. Gotta be careful of the tentacle hands. Like I said, definitely a little bit of a challenging fight at this point. God damn, and the reach on that. Does not look like I'm gonna be able to get a auger parry, so next best bet is to just R1 her into oblivion. Fortunately, the stagger on our sword is a lot better than hers, so we're able to just keep up the R1 pressure. Ooh, that was almost a call to beyond there. No, stop that. We're not healing. Oh my god. What you keep seeing there is her trying to do a call to beyond. And us interrupting her. God damn. Yeah, so like I said, it's a challenging fight to get through, but I do think it's worthwhile for the Odin Writhe rune. There are 3 tiers of that rune. If you go up here, I want to say there was like a note, but there's nothing of value over here. But coming up here and getting that rune, there are only 2 other versions of the rune. One of them will give you a single bullet back when you do a successful visceral. The other will give you 3 bullets back when you do a visceral, but that one is buried down in the chalice dungeons. So in terms of availability, that is basically the most easily acquired version of the Odin Writhe rune that's actually valuable, because you know that way as long as you are hitting viscerals, you effectively have an infinite bullet supply, since it costs 1 visceral or 1 bullet to visceral, and you are shooting them and then getting back a bullet as well. So, challenging fight, but I really do think it's worth it. Assuming you're good at viscerals. If you're terrible at getting parries and viscerals, it's not going to help you at all, but that is a different situation altogether. But anyway, head on over here. Now that we have that, we're going to put on the impurity rune. Instead of more bullets held, we'll do the visceral attacks grant bullets. Max vials held isn't bad. Actually, we're going to do air. More blood echoes from viscerals. The beast transform, these aren't bad if you're using the beast blood pellets a lot. And we're going to level up and potentially take down the boss of Forbidden Woods. You're telling me I don't have a single one? Hang on.
Farewell, good hunt.
I'm leveling up now. If you're ever just a little bit short of a level, you can sell those. I'm not gonna need them.
Very well.
There we go.
Farewell.
Okay, back to the Forbidden Woods. Checking my notes, see how far we go for the boss. More snake balls, twin shards, mega snake, drop down. Yeah, alright, I think we can make it to the boss here. So anyway, let's take the elevator first, right through here. Now there's, come on, right. There are two real paths through this area. There's kind of like a left path and a right path. I guess that's one way to describe it. But we're going to be going along the right, which I guess you could describe as like the upper path first. And we're going to make it all the way to the boss, unlock shortcuts and whatnot. And then after that, we will worry about where we want to go from there. So this gap right here, if you're not sure, it's good to jump just to be safe. I think you can actually roll it, but jumping is, you know, I know for a fact you can jump it. Jump up that, and the first thing we have is an executioner guy here, so we're going to take him out. Look at that. 19 bullets, 20 bullets. Oh no. He probably has, we're not dropping down. Actually we are in a second, but grab the twin bloodstone shards. Drop down, and this area is filled with these snake balls. Snake balls can poison you, which is why it's good to still have some antidotes on. Ooh, we had a radiant blood, I like that. There we go. Alright, so there's a bunch of little loot, some stuff and whatnot. Don't worry about those for now. We're going to be getting a bunch of stuff, but we are strictly sticking all the way to the right side of this place. There's a lot of loots here, but what I found easiest is to kind of hug the right side of the level and work your way through, and then we're going to circle back around hugging the other side of the level and working our way through. And by doing that, you won't end up missing anything versus... Because the thing is, if you're hopping back and forth between like, oh, I see something over here, I see something over there, and you're just running all over, you end up missing some stuff because there's a lot of loots that are very well tucked. Just kind of tucked away. So just, you know, keep hugging this. So we killed the two snake balls near the fire and got more shards. We got the snake men and snake balls near a shard. A shard. My notes are appropriate, yes. Right, and then we're going to continue along and hug the wall to come up on a mega snake ball. There's the mega snake ball. I would suggest looping around. You want to get behind this thing. Thankfully, the weapon we're using has a fair amount of stagger to it, so... You okay? And there's some twin shards near the overhang. Oh. Looking at my notes and not paying attention. So head on up here. That was a drop from the snake. Get back up to Mega Snake Ball. Twin shards near overhang, thick cold blood, and then deep sea behind the monument. Oh, let's go. There's near deep sea. We picked up the cold blood, and then I wrote that right on the overhang. There was some Twin shards, but I'm not seeing the twin shards now. Oh, there they are. Always believe in my notes. Return back to before Mega Snake and hold to the right. Kill 3 more snake men to get our first chunk. So we're gonna drop right here. Definitely a bit of a challenging fight here. There we go, our very first bloodstone chunk. Alright, continue hugging the path. We're gonna grab this, just this one loot. Just this one. There's a bunch of other stuff. Let me see in the notes. So, continue hugging the path for a batch of snake balls and another mega snake ball. Path. There we go. This is what we want. Space them out. Kill off the baby snake balls. Okay, it's dead. We'll get the frenzied cold blood and the murky blood gemstone. Drop down for a snake man and the clockwise metamorphosis rune, and is right here. Oh, you're not dead. I was like, what? How are you alive? And there we go. Our first clockwise metamorphosis. This is the stamina rune. Really good to get. Let me see. Big. We can either pick this up now or later. It doesn't matter. Let's grab it now. He's unfortunately not going to be able to follow us. And we can't even get that gate open for the time being. Which that's what he needs. He needs that gate open to follow us, but you can grab it now or later. It doesn't really matter. We're grabbing him to bring him along to the boss. So anyway, let's see. Continue the path. We got that. It is locked until later. Take the path up and plunge for the snake ball. Alright, good chunk of damage there. The murky blood. So this kind of split right here, this is like the defining split of the area where you're going to round and make your way to the boss. So just kind of put this in memory. We're going to be coming back here a bit later, and this is going to be a spot that I talk about. So we're going to follow the path down though, and we're going to stay to the right side. There's some snake balls over here. Snake ball over here, guarding some goodies. Oh, stop that. Should be a cold blood. Go. So just keep running. Stay on the right. And we're going to come down here and we're going to see a bunch of stuff and a pig and enemies, and we're literally just going to sprint past all this stuff for now. We're not worried about it. We're really close to a shortcut and the boss, so we're going to do all that. And then we're going to work our way through this zone backwards and clear it on out. So just run along the path. Let's see, the pig should come out. It's good, it'll mostly ignore you. You can safely run this way. here's the gate. let our summon out. Now these summons are only going to show up if you put on the impunity rune that we grabbed earlier, which is why we wanted to warp and get that back on. But they're basically part of that covenant, so they're unique summons in that regard. There's a couple of them throughout the game. We're going to be wearing the impunity ones for the ones that we need, and I will be pointing that out. But beyond that, we'll be using a stamina rune that we get a little bit later. But so bring out these two, and then we're going to head on into the boss fight. Now, typically, this fight's actually pretty hard. You're fighting against 3 shadows of Yharnam. The best way to describe them is they're like snake men, but just beefed up and even stronger. By bringing these two along, the fight turns into a 3v3 versus a 1v3. So even with the extra health that the boss has, it's still a much, much easier fight because you're not really doing much. You know, you're just focusing on one guy. So head on in, get ready to fight. I would suggest going for whatever target they're not focusing on, or help them kill one, and you know, that's that. But basically, we're showing up with the gang. It's like, reminds me of those days of Dark Souls PvP. You can parry these enemies as well, but we're just kind of looking to dunk on them with damage. Very, very different. I can't stress enough how different this fight is when you're fighting all 3 solo. Because you're like actively trying to, you know, like parry one and get another one and dodge. And the trick behind the shadows is every time you kill a shadow, they actually, as you kill them, different shadows gain the powers of the shadows you have killed. So like one that is, you know, now they got their snakes coming out, and the one that's doing fire, if you kill him, the other ones will gain fire. The one gets like a longer katana. And eventually they have this like crazy thing where they summon up a massive snake and it hits everybody, but with 3 people doing the fight, it's not really a concern. And we're actually going to start working on this one just so, since he's solo, we'll start getting his health down instead of letting him just do his thing. No more fireballs, stop that. You can see just how easy this is. Imagine trying to fight all 3 of these guys at the same time. Instead, we're just like, we've killed one and now we're just bullying the next one. And even with the bigger health pool, like, he can't really do much. He doesn't have a chance to fight back. We're quite literally a bully right now. Trying to do is snake. Oh, look, he summoned the big snakes. We actually got to see it. Now that there's only one, we can back up and try to get charge attacks on him while he's busy paying attention to them. NPC summon gang OP! Got the Blood Rapture rune, which is a really nice rune. They're gonna head on out, and we are gonna warp on away. So that's gonna wrap up this one. There's obviously still a lot left in the Forbidden Woods, and we're gonna be warping back to this lantern and then working our way through this zone backwards. But you know, it was easy enough to make our way up to the boss, and so we went ahead and got that knocked out. But either way, stay tuned, and I will catch you all soon enough as we get all the remainder of the loot in that area.